start off, tell me a little bit about your position and what you do with Transperfect.
Sure. And you got your recorder going and all that? Everything's ready for you?
I do, yes. Everything is all set.
Okay. My name is Mike Watkins, and I'm the Customer Implementation Supervisor for Transperfect Remote Interpreting. Our department facilitates the onboarding of all new accounts, serves as subject matter experts for the sales team, and coordinates all internal departments for the successful launch of new accounts and maintenance of current accounts.
Awesome. Okay. So, in general, what is Transperfect's primary role?
I'm sorry, say it again?
So in general, what is Transperfect's, primary role? What is their, main function as a company?
Well, our division, Transperfect Remote Interpreting, is one of about 20-something wholly owned subsidiaries of the parent corporation. Mm-hmm. We do live telephonic interpretation, which means we supply interpreters in our call centers and elsewhere into three-way calls that we receive from companies, individuals all over the world and in the U.S. and North America. So we are the remote interpreting division of Transperfect. Transperfect as a whole is a technology and language services holding company that has a lot of different divisions. Our main business is document translation and website localization.
Awesome. Okay. And the project that this is is for my Spanish class, and it's about working with different cultures. So the next couple questions will kind of be more in that realm. And so do you serve all customers equally regardless of their cultural characteristics?
The short answer is yes. The longer answer is that we have protocols that interpreters employ to get them through situations where they would be dealing with people from every register and spectrum that they might encounter.
Okay. Awesome. And do you serve Hispanic customers specifically? I think I actually remember during the presentation when Ross came to speak at ASU that he mentioned that Transperfect did do some services for some businesses in Spain, some businesses in Latin America, things like that.
Yes, we actually serve over 170 languages with live telephonic interpretation around North America, South America, and the rest of the world.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So do you remember any specific companies that you've worked with just off the top of your head that were Hispanic specifically, either in Spain, Latin America, or just locally within North America?
Well, I'm going to have to ask you a question.
Okay.
When you say Hispanic companies, do you mean companies that are located in Latin American or Spanish nations, or do you mean that are owned and run by Hispanics?
Either one. Doesn't have to necessarily be located abroad. Either one, even if it's locally and run by Hispanics, just any company that would require you to work with the Spanish culture.
Yes, I can't think of a specific name right now, but I would say that the vast majority of all of our bigger clients are international in scope and have offices throughout the world, which would, of course, include the Spanish-speaking world, since it's
awesome.
North and South America.
Okay. So when working with other cultures, what are some of the issues, challenges, or cultural challenges that you tend to face when trying to get over some of these issues that might be brought up with conflicts with cultures?
Well, let me keep the answer specifically in the domain of live telephonic interpretation. Mm-hmm. In live telephonic interpretation, our goal is to interpret the message from one party to another, meaning for meaning, in content and register, with no omissions and no additions. unpack that statement. What that means is that no matter who says what, we have to convey what that person said to the listener.
Mm-hmm.
So at times, we have to be what you might call a cultural broker, bridging the communication gap between someone who's not from the culture to someone who is, or vice versa. That doesn't happen so often because most of the let me back that up. It doesn't happen in most of our conversations with most of our major clients because the people that are calling and, pressing 2 for Spanish or 3 for other languages and, getting an interpreter on the phone, they know that you're getting an interpreter on the phone. And the interpreter uses session management guidelines to properly get that message across. So here's an example. If the speaker says a word or phrase that the interpreter doesn't recognize or is unclear on, the interpreter will ask for clarification. And then the speaker will give the clarification, and the interpreter will convey the message. So in that sense, they're acting as a kind of they're still acting as an interpreter, but they're going a little bit more in depth and making sure that that's super clear. Well, when you're talking about cultural broker, one of the things, and here's an example, there are some languages where some concepts or words don't exist that exist in English.
Yeah.
So one prime example is in some cultures the word mortgage does not exist. And it's because when you live in those countries, you own your house or the government owns the house.
Oh, okay.
And when you own your house, you buy it. People don't use banks the way they do in the West, etc. So you might have to use a series of terms or comparative ideas to express the word mortgage to the non-English speaker.
Interesting. That's really interesting. Okay. So it'll definitely be a challenge then to, for those words that don't directly translate to, find another way to express it.
It is, and also, let me also add a little bit more to that. And in some of these cultures, even where the ideas exist, the word may not. So you would have to use a lot more words. So as where I can say, the thing I'm trying to say in a 6 or 8 word sentence, I might have to, as the interpreter, the other language comparison of that same 6 or 8 words might be 2 or 3 sentences.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
those ideas don't correspond exactly to the same word.
Right. Okay. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay. So given that Transperfect is a company that works with a great variety of different cultures and different locations all over the world, do you know if it offers training to understand the cultural needs of your clientele?
That's something that I believe the corporate parent has specialists that do, but I can't speak to that. I think they do. And if you'd like some referral to someone in that division, I could provide that to more expand on that. But I know that with 25 years in business as a going concern and having business all over the world and 100 offices worldwide and the largest corporations and some of the smallest in the world across all industries, I bet I'd say it's probably a pretty good bet that we do that to some extent. I would just have to look into it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if you have someone that you could connect me with for that, I would really appreciate that. That'd be awesome.
You're welcome.
But then other than that, those are all my questions. So thank you very much again for taking the time. That was very informative, very interesting, especially to learn about the interpretation services, because that can I imagine how that would get a little bit challenging working with so many different languages.
Yeah, it's a whole other world compared to the translation world. Translation is document. So are you a Spanish major at ASU? Because that's what my degree was from ASU.
Yes, I am. I'm a Spanish and finance major, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So going back just briefly, give you a little bit more peek into the document side. Here's the way a document translation works, and it's completely different than a verbal translation.
Okay.
Verbal interpretation. The source document, whatever it is, it's a PDF or a disk or a ME file or whatever it is. What we do is we take a look at that and we scrub it for non-translatable items like pictures, free PDFs that are frozen, proper nouns and names of companies, things like that. Then we take it to the translatable content. Then that's done by a project manager who pulls it in off of a database tool. And that's one thing we've also done is create and own our own database tools. We don't farm that out to anybody. So we've gone on a technology hunt, and over the last 15, 20 years, bought up all these companies that make these tools and then brought them in-house to use them for our translation interpretation needs. So that's another thing. They can provide a seamless enterprise solution, and that's how that tool works. So that the project manager pulls that job down.
Wow, okay.
And then she'll scan it for the translatable amount. Let's say it's 2,000 words. Then she will find the most qualified interpreters, and whoever answers, and I don't know the bid process, but whoever gets the job, then takes the job away, and however many days later, depending on the size of the document, returns the document. So there's your first proof. Then what that project manager does is she will find a second interpreter who then translates that back into English and compares it against the original source document, and that's how you find the errors. And then you correct those, and then you send that out to the customer. It's pretty neat.
So it's really quite a process.
I strongly urge you to look at our website, transperfect.com, and look under family of companies. You can spend hours looking at it. It's just simply fascinating. And so is the whole language business these days, because everything's going global, to coin a phrase.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like quite a necessary service, given that so many companies now are getting so big and they're going global, and it's so important to have their message in their advertisements and things like that not be lost when they go in to these other countries. So
that's really cool. I'll talk about that other thing. Let me just write it down. What was it again? It was
it was someone that you were going to connect me with in regards to.
Something about consulting for cultural sensitivity.
Yes, it was for to see if the company offers training to understand the cultural needs of the clientele.
To understand needs of clientele. Okay. Yeah, I'll find out. I'll get that to you soon. And congratulations on your double major. I think combining language and business, especially now, especially through a great university like ASU. Thank you, Michael Crow, for turning it into an absolutely first.
Oh yeah. It's a great community to be a part of, for sure.
Well, I'm glad. And there's the combining languages with business, and if you go on and get your MBA or your law or whatever it is, because postgrad is so important. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying the facts.
Oh yeah,
You can go. You'll go far. So good luck, and I'll get a hold of you the next few days once I find out that other stuff. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.